All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. And we're back for our second episode of Bright Ideas and Bad Decisions. Today we're going to be trying something a little different, maybe a little crazy, but we're going to see if it is a bright idea or bad decision. I'm going to get my haircut while we're doing our interview with this awesome guy. One of the most successful guys I've met in my life so far. He's awesome. He's cool. His name is Anthony Tyrell. He goes by Batman and Joliet.
How you doing,
Introduce
guys?
yourself, my guy. Tell
How
us
you
about
doing?
yourself.
I'm a disabled veteran. Spent 22 years back and forth in the Army. Been around my cousin Anthony all my life.
What's up, people? What part of the Army were you in?
I'm
you don't mind me
artillery.
Artillery?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fire direction for artillery. I worked at Comcast for 13 years, and I retired in 2019. Currently run my own series of apps that offer different products, offer different services, and trying to bring our people under the understanding of what's going on with technology. If you understand technology from the aspect of how it works best, instead of assuming someone can show you how this works and how to save yourself money, it becomes a better product and a better situation for you. Because in excess, I've noticed people are paying for cable $300-400 for internet, cable, and TV, and then they're also purchasing all the apps. So it's just overkill, and that's how they want you to think. Is to keep, they want to be in your pocket for everything. $5, $10, $15 for this, $5, $10, $15 for that. It adds up. I had a young lady that was paying $700 a month. She didn't know where her money was going. So just helping people understand how technology works, how to best navigate using these apps, and show them, hey, you're paying twice for this.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Hulu, Netflix, Apple TV, you have HBO Max. You have all these different things that are giving you the same product, but you're thinking that you need an app for one show.
Right.
And it's just teaching someone the technology helps. And that's what I try and do.
I want to ask you a question. Now, you know me, Anthony, and me and Batman go a long ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
we played football together.
I know we talk about what you're doing right now, but we want to talk about when Batman got here in Illinois. Now, I've known Batman since way back.
You're not from Illinois?
Come from New York.
I'm from Brooklyn.
You're from Brooklyn?
Where you come
That's
from?
crazy.
I'm from Brooklyn,
And why you moved here?
Well, it was a thing where children don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You go where your parents tell
go.
you.
Yeah.
So I was born in Brooklyn, 1965, February 2nd. 22 days later, Malcolm X got assassinated in Brooklyn.
Wow.
So
you were down the street?
Like literally, Myrtle Avenue and Broadway Broadway is where the Moss is in Brooklyn, and we lived on Myrtle Avenue. So we were interacting with these people all of our lives.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
That's awesome and like crazy.
Yeah.
At the same
So
time,
yeah,
you're
because
like that close.
it's this image of make people bigger than life and take them out of ordinary situations. That you could see people walking through neighborhoods and go, oh, I know that guy. And then he blows up, and then he becomes an important person, and they take over the narration of who that person was, and he becomes something in their image.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And that's called what? Identity stealing. And that's what this culture does. And it's a culture of mixed mesh of people that,
So, what made you move here?
What made me move here was,
Yeah.
like I said, my parent, my mother,
Yeah.
you know, like I needed help, and she sent me to my grandparents. And I was 13 when I got here for the second time. I was here from 1 to 5,
Right.
and then I went back to New York to go to school. And by the time seventh grade came around, I was back here in Joliet. And
Yeah.
till I was went through high school, and then I went into service. So I had a couple of different breaks of growing up here in Joliet. So I know a lot of people in Joliet. I know a lot of people in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, all of New York City.
So you got people countrywide then?
Yes, we have a mesh.
We're really known man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and then
I remember Batman in high school. He was. Did you take Homecoming King in high school?
no, that was Tory McGee. He's
Okay.
one of our buddies. He played football with us too.
Yeah.
I just didn't run for King.
Me and Batman played in the same football team.
Oh, that's how you guys know each other?
No,
well, me and Batman knew each other when we was kids.
kids. We grew up together.
We grew up together. So,
Okay.
but you know, back in the day, when no social media back then, none of
Yeah,
that
you had to
stuff.
go outside
So
and talk
all
to
we
people.
know is our community.
Yeah.
So everybody
Yeah,
knew
like-
each other in the community. Everybody know.
We weren't allowed over here.
Yeah,
As kids, we couldn't walk on the west side of Joliet.
No, we couldn't do none of that stuff.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
you couldn't walk through a
How
neighborhood.
come?
I walk here.
Yeah, like we couldn't walk where we live now. Like you come across that bridge, walk through them, man, they'll run you out of or back to the east side of Joliet. That's how crazy.
So you think it changed a lot since then?
Yeah, everything changes for the
Yeah.
good.
And I mean, change is slow. It always has been. It
Yeah.
always will be. So I think we're gonna continue to change. I hope we continue to change in better aspects.
Most definitely. And like my wife's Italian, so you know I have mixed children. I can't be prejudiced against anyone.
Absolutely.
Why? Like my youngest granddaughter is a blonde-haired, beautiful, blue-eyed little girl that is my son's daughter, and you know, and I'm like, I love her to death. I talk to her every day for about 2 hours, and she calls me and FaceTimes me, and I have to sit on the phone while she explains.
Grandpa,
yeah,
Right.
I have to explain. She has to explain life to me. So
Yeah.
that's a mixture.
That's amazing.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So you know, Batman, I've been known for you for years, and I've been telling my man here for years. I was like, I know a guy named Batman, and he's social media. He got a lot of people that likes him, follow him
Yeah.
on IG, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that X, you know, whatever you call it. And so can you tell me what's some of the things you talk about on social media that you don't know?
I'm a Bear fan.
Okay.
That's how so I talk about my team.
Mhm.
I'm a Yankee fan. I talk about my team. I use it more as a platform to make connections with people, and like I'm a salesperson, so my idea is the more people I know, the more people I can sell something to.
Absolutely.
And that's
So
why
you use it as you use it for networking.
Yeah, definitely.
Got it.
That's my biggest focus.
Okay.
And
is networking with people.
so what made that transition happen? Like you went from Brooklyn to Chicago to the Army, and then you said you were in Comcast for 20 years.
Oh,
And
13 years.
13 years,
Yeah.
and now you have a series of apps. What was the deciding factors
factor.
that got you there?
It boils down to this: making money.
Right.
You can do things in life that's illegal or not illegal, but the ultimate goal is to make money, and we want to do things the right way
Mm-hmm.
because you want to be here for your family. So you don't want to sell drugs. You don't want to do anything to put
jeopardize that.
Yeah, to jeopardize your freedom. So you find different ways to figure out and factor in how to make money. I just became an Amazon seller, so I'm going through the process of learning how to put products on Amazon because I am, I'm a licensed Amazon seller now.
Mhm.
I have the ability to put
To
products
put products on there.
on there. So I'm taking that venture, and it's just looking for different avenues to
To make
increase
money.
your wealth.
Yeah, to create. It's looking for different streams of revenue that you can create and
Multiple
automate.
streams. Yes. Right now I have maybe 10 streams of revenue right
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to get there one day.
like
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So
go ahead.
when you what got you into apps though? Like that specific. I know you said it's about making money,
Just
but
understanding technology.
just understanding technology.
Yeah, and realizing that I don't need no one to give me anything. I'm going to
Mhm.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look at what's going on and say, hey, this is how you can make money. And apps seem to be the way to make money. So that's why I do it.
And technology's not going anywhere. It's
Yes.
only raising. I mean, Tesla just released their new robot.
Right.
I think it's called Optimus.
Yeah.
And it looks super cool.
Yeah.
But technology's on the rise, and I feel like it's going to continue to rise.
Of course it is.
And so learning technology
That's
is almost fundamental at this point,
right.
because it's so a part of our lives. Like 20 years ago, it took my dad 2 weeks to build his own resume, right? And now we can do it we don't even have to do it. We can put our stuff in Google, and Google will do it for us.
Or you can get an AI app and say, create me a resume template and fill the information in.
And just fill it in and just fill in the blanks. And that takes 30 minutes.
Not even.
And so to have that, like, it just shows the advancement and the growth of not just technology, but our civilization in a way.
Yeah.
And how I do feel like we do rely on technology too much. That we eventually might lose touch with the world, but at the same time we're also going to change the world. So,
and that's up to you guys, you Gen Zers, because I'm 60 in February. I'm 59. I'll be 60 in February, and we're watching you guys, our children and grandchildren, prosper to the next level. So you guys have the ability to change the world, make differences that will inevitably better lives for all of us. Like in 20 years, me and Anthony will need y'all to take care of us. Like that's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, because like when I talk to Batman all the time about the kids coming up with you, me and Batman always talk about trying to tell the kids the experience that we went through, how we grew up.
Absolutely.
And how to stay out of trouble, go to school, get your education, try to learn a trade. You know what I'm saying? Unless me and Batman most about sports, so me and Batman, we always support kids' sports.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
So that's one of the things that I know most parents got to work a lot, and a lot of parents can't make to some of those games.
Yeah, to all of them.
Me and Batman be the ones always supporting the kids.
I'm gonna support you.
And trying to help the kids that see, that's something that me and Batman learned growing up. We really didn't have people trying to come to our game supporting us.
Right.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to give back while we're here. So that's one of the things. What do you think about that, Batman?
I totally agree, Anthony. I've been to maybe 7 games so far this season, basketball games for kids that are playing college now, and I'll keep going, and I'll go watch just to see a friendly face, someone. Hey, I know that guy. He's from my hometown. It gives the kid a sense of confidence that hey, he's not going through something alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and that matters. I mean, there's multiple times, like my parents did everything they could to be at every game.
Exactly.
Right.
And I appreciate that more than and like even now I could be bowling or playing pickleball, and I'll look behind me to see if my parents are there, or my brothers, or my sister, or somebody there to support me. And I mean that feeling of being supported is what I think kids need too. Right. Because if they're going through it alone, that only makes life harder.
Oh yeah, like
And
we're a
they can't be
community.
they can't reach their full potential without it.
It's called being a community.
It takes a village.
Yeah, like the success in life is realizing that we're not individuals. We
Right.
are individuals in the case of you're your own person,
Right.
but when you realize the strength is in community, meaning that if you support everyone that you are involved with, now that how can I let me rephrase this. If 99% of the people chose to think or come up with a collective thinking, how can 1% of the population control us?
Right.
So
That's fair.
if we're divided and conquered, you divide and put people in different fractions. Like, come on, man, think about it. If no no group of people think just one way,
Everybody has a different way of thinking. Everybody
yeah,
has a
like
different perspective.
and coming a common collective meaning like you can sit and come up with like-minded ideas
Exactly.
and work toward the success of something and then move forward. Like you don't have to identify with one group. That hey, like you said, you play pickleball, so that's a community.
Absolutely.
Bowling, that's a community.
Absolutely.
That people are so focused on left and right instead of realizing that if you only go left, you're gonna end up in a circle.
Yeah.
You're gonna go.
If you're gonna go right, you end up in a circle.
You're gonna and you go right. You're gonna end up in the same spot that you started, and you're gonna spin your wheel, and you're not gonna go anywhere. To move forward in life, you have to
go
change
right
your
and
direction.
left. You have to walk.
Right.
You have to walk that path.
Right.
Right.
I had experience. Over the years, me cutting hair. I've been cutting hair 25 years in the industry, and I used to think just cutting hair, come here, go ahead.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay. So
It happens.
just cut hair and do what I had to do and go on home. I didn't realize being a barber, I would change people's lives.
Yeah, dude.
For the better.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of single mothers come here. So I remember one time we recalled back in the day, maybe about a couple of years ago. The mother called me and said she having a problem with her son in the sixth grade at Watson Junior High. He getting in trouble, acting a fool in the class. She said, Anthony, can you go over there and do something? So I went over there, talked to the principal. I said, I want to see so-and-so. Mom's at work. She had me come to represent her as the father figure, role model. I went over there, true story. Walked in the room. The man looked at me. He was in a state of shock. What Mr. Thompson doing here?
Right.
Why is he doing it? For me to show him my face,
just to
change
show
his perspective
on how he
it was
been.
like, then I literally told him, I took him out the room. I just said, listen here, don't make me come back here.
Right.
It's not gonna be nice.
Nice.
and then my mother came to me. Did you know Christmas came around? She gave me a gift. She said, that time you saved my son. He was showing his butt in class. So this is what we're talking about. Things like this. People don't talk about this stuff.
Yeah,
You
like
know what I'm saying?
I
Go ahead, Doc.
coming home from the service, I saw a need that being in the school system, helping these children, seeing successful black men was a major factor. I started coaching my Farragut grade school here in Joliet.
You coach Farragut?
Yeah.
I know that.
I coached there. Well, I actually started that program when I got home because they didn't have a program at that school. And it was, my son came home. They're Army kids, so they looking at it like, hey, wait a minute. We don't have a basketball program. I'm like, well, I'll go talk to the principal. And we got the program started. And you would not believe over a 7-year period, a lot. You don't think you're affecting lives, but when you can see kids now taking their kids around and you go, hey, Coach Terrell, how you doing? And that's the influence that you have. You don't realize that just being there, seeing someone be successful and show them that, hey, I do support you, and you're influencing children on a lower level, that makes a difference. Like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you don't look at it that way while you're doing it, but when you look back at life and go, hey, there's
Like
about
that kid looked up to you.
yeah, not only that kid, their whole family. Like
Yeah.
we would have
Absolutely.
families that came, and then two of my little cousins are coaching at one was at Persian and one is at Cunningham coaching, and I went to their games and I realized that watching me coach, I saw them coaching the way I coached and interacting with the children, with the fans. It was
It's
just
a
a
trend.
beautiful. It was a
So you
beautiful
started a
thing.
trend.
It was a beautiful
That
thing,
you was that role model that they needed at that time.
and
You
they
know what I'm
took
saying?
it. They took it to another level, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's not taking credit. That's just realizing that you influence people by your actions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
and I feel like that is the functional equivalent to like the abused becomes the abuser. Is
Oh,
if you're
most definitely.
the helper helps the helping become the helper.
Right.
You know, because if you give back to your community, that community is going to give
Get
back to
back
the
to you.
community after them.
There
That
you
comes
go.
after them. Those that come, the generations to come.
Yeah.
You know, and then we build a stronger, bigger community
There you
for
go.
everybody to join,
Exactly.
rather than continuously be separate.
Yeah, like that's your ultimate goal is
Absolutely.
divide and conquer.
Absolutely.
Like if you have 99% of the people that are individuals and no unity and no togetherness,
Right.
then 1%, which averages out to be a lot of people, be, that are focused on one agenda, can control the world, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
99% of the people are you don't want to get involved. You don't want to go up to the school. You don't want to support children. You don't want to support people's projects. This entrepreneur is doing
That's true.
yeah, like
People just trying to be better.
yeah.
But that means when you look at it, at the end of the day, when you're out of here, who they gonna remember?
Hopefully,
Who they gonna remember that person that had the time
it
to
took
help
time.
a person?
Yeah, that took
Not the
time.
person who ain't doing nothing with their life. Because I always look at like I used to be on social media all the time, going live a lot,
Mm.
and I hear the positive stuff about it. People say I'm doing good stuff. You also hear the negative stuff like, "Why is he doing this? Why are you doing that?" You know,
Everybody's gonna hate though. Like everybody's gonna have haters. You know, everybody. There's always gonna be somebody that doesn't like what
don't
you're doing.
appreciate what you're trying to do, and maybe I can save a person.
Exactly.
I can save a person. You know, it's just the outcome out here is so severe to being as what I do. It's like I never knew that things I say can change the people.
Yeah.
I never knew 25 years ago I was gonna be a barber either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know, God put you
where
in
you
certain
need
places.
to
Absolutely.
God put you in
where
certain
you
places.
need
God
to
put you in certain places. So he got us here for a reason
Yeah.
to make change.
And I feel like this is just the first step, you know, to building something bigger than ourselves. And you know, I feel, at least for me, based off experience, the best way to be successful is to help others,
Exactly.
not just yourself, because it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
about you.
yeah,
You know, it is about
I
you
do,
ultimately at the end of the day. But
Yes.
if you're helping others, others are going to continuously to help you, and you're going to benefit off of it
Yeah.
in more ways than
Oh,
one.
most definitely.
It's like, but tell me a little, how long you been married? That's a good
Well,
experience. I think you've been married a long time, but
Yeah.
can you break it down how you met the young lady,
Like-
your wife, and how many kids you got?
Hey, yeah.
And what made you fall in love with this woman?
Well,
You can tell her name too if you want.
yeah, my wife Carla, we've been together since we were 16.
Mhm.
And
Also, high school sweetheart.
16?
yeah, 16,
Long time.
and we have 3 children. I have another son when I went off to college. You know, so I have a total of 4 that I know of, and you don't know. You know, you go through life experience, and I'm not a perfect person, but I realized that a family success is based on how you achieve greatness based on taking care of that family. And you learn through life. I've been married for 40 years now.
How many years?
That's amazing.
40 years.
40 years?
40
That's
years.
amazing.
Did you hear that?
40 years.
That is unbelievable.
And I'm not a perfect
The divorce
person.
rate right now going on right now.
And
It's
And,
like 60% right
yeah.
now.
yeah,
You've been married for
40 years. And I'll tell everyone I'm not a perfect person. I've done some stupid stuff.
Right, everybody.
But
Yeah.
you know, you realize that, hey, is it really worth it to be putting what you have in jeopardy? And it's hard to learn, and we learn it, and we keep moving on. Like,
and
hey,
sometimes we have to learn it the hard way.
hard way. That's it.
Mhm.
So I give praise to my wife because she put up with me for 43 years because we didn't get married till we were 19. But
Mhm.
you know, like,
Can you give examples of some of the
Yeah, like what's the key?
the coolest stuff you did?
How do we get
Oh,
to 40?
yeah.
How do we get to
marriage go?
how do we get to
you go?
40 years?
you get
You
through
can break it
40
down a
years.
little bit, man. Let's
You
just-
get to
better
40
than that.
years by simply realizing that you have to it's hard to become a unit, a family,
Mhm.
that you have to put an effort toward that. We were born individuals, so individual success is something that everybody focuses on. But to realize that getting married and focusing on the family, focusing on the wife, and then there's always distractions. Of course, there are. I don't lie to no one. Distractions are there,
Exactly.
and you,
The haters on the way, you mean?
yeah, and you make dumb decisions. You just have to stop and regroup and pray that that other person is there with you, and realize that you're not a victim.
You're not a victim.
And that's the hardest thing for people to understand is that, hey, you make a mistake, you own up to it, and you apologize and you move on.
Yeah.
That going,
But that level of communication everybody doesn't have, like
oh, believe, like 40 years. Think about it,
yeah,
guys.
that level of communication
Yeah.
needs to be like built.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
of
feel like
course.
in this day and age it's all
Like-
about sex. It's all about like how like image, how we look
Yeah.
together rather than how do we communicate? How do we talk to each other so that we can be 40 years,
You, to me, and this is just by luck. I just feel like you communicate. Like,
Mhm.
hey, things that you do that other person is not going to do, and
Absolutely.
you have to be that supportive person. Like, hey, I support what you do.
Exactly.
I made a mistake, you made a mistake, let's move forward. Because what, life is cyclical. If you're in 100 relationships, they're going to all come to the same boiling point. Yeah, you're gonna have your highs, and you're gonna come to your medium, and then you're gonna have your lows, and then you're gonna come back up and like each other again.
It's going to balance
It's gonna balance itself out over 40 years. That balances out. That you make mistakes. No one is gonna sit here and go. If you focus on only your mistakes, then you won't be married.
Mhm.
But you have to focus on your success. You got to look at what you've done.
Yeah. How
And
you treat each other
how do you
on a
treat each
day-to-day
other?
basis.
Yeah, definitely. And then having common ground, and that's usually children.
Absolutely.
Children are common grounds.
I don't feel like children should be a reason to stay.
No. By far, that's not
Yeah.
what I'm saying. A common ground. When you have children, you have them for life,
Right.
and so you can say, "I'm throwing that woman away," or "I'm throwing that man away," but guess what?
You still have children.
You still have children, and that children is you talking crazy about your
Hey, the kids ain't going nowhere.
Right.
kids
That's
are never
like
going to.
luggage.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, sitting and berating the other parent instead of realizing that you laid down with that person and created life.
Right.
Now you're stuck. Now you have that responsibility.
You have that responsibility and you own up to it. And you'll find out once your kids are grown and they're on their own that if you want to still would be with that person, it's still realizing that, hey, it's about common ground.
Absolutely.
You find things to do. Like I go see my grandchildren every weekend because that's our common ground. Like we want to be around our grandchildren.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, that to me, and I don't have the answers to nothing because everybody can do something better than the next person.
Absolutely. Or something different, and
No,
it'll work.
different, and it's not a thing about right or wrong. It's about how you live your life
Absolutely.
And what works for you that
and
relationship.
works for your relationship. So learning that if all you do is have anger in your life, then you'll be an angry person, and you will be by yourself. So learning that it's okay to be angry, but then you have to
You have to
calm
let it
yourself.
go.
You gotta let it go.
You
Like
gotta,
I tell my uncle, I said,
Mhm.
and I don't use people's name that I haven't
Mhm.
asked for their permission. But if you if you're constantly going from there's levels to anger. If you got levels to anger, say let's put it on from 0 to 10.
Mhm.
If something happens to you and you go from 0 to 10, there's no controlling your anger. But if you train yourself to realize that you can
You
get
don't.
to 5
Yeah.
and then calm
And get your
yourself
point
down
across
Right.
and
Right.
without.
calm back down,
Yeah.
Right.
it's going to keep you out of a situation that you don't want to be in, and realizing that your reaction to someone's action you can't control.
And
So when somebody does an action against you,
Mhm.
how you react is up to you, and they don't realize that, hey, I just stepped on your shoe, and the other guy said, well, I killed you.
Mhm.
Like that's a reaction to an action, and
absolutely.
you go, well, that's not fair. Like who judges life on how someone reacts? Like you don't, I can't tell you how to react to what I do to you,
Exactly.
but I can apologize to you and say, hey man, hey look,
Oh,
but
man.
They're like, my bad. Like I
my bad, I
didn't.
didn't mean it.
Yeah.
And if I offended or afflicted you, I apologize. And hey, is there anything I could do to help you overcome what I've done to you? And that's all
Absolutely.
you can do. Like, if you spend your life with regret, what good is that for you?
Yeah. That.
You
Yeah.
you can apologize. They can either choose to forgive you or not.
Right.
But guess what? You have to move on with your life. You apologize, you're sincere. That person may not forgive you,
Mhm.
or they may forgive you, but they won't forget.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And then they'll change how they act with you accordingly.
there you go.
Hey,
And
hey, Batman. Last week we had a podcast. We were talking about people being married and bringing their problems to the job.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the husband and wife fighting. Then he bring the anger to the job,
of
and
course,
then he bring the anger on other people.
Yep.
of course,
And
You know what I'm saying?
of
I feel
course.
like that's like emotional intelligence is a huge thing that people should take a class on at least, and to understand their own emotions. Because not everybody handles their emotions the same way. And like, for
Mhm.
example, our prison is the most emotional place on earth because I'm not gonna say everybody in there has reacted off of is in there because they reacted off of emotion,
Exactly.
Mm.
but most of the prison population did react off of an emotion, which is why they got where they are. And
And I just have a different opinion about the prison system. Prison system did not exist until they started the prison system at the end of slavery.
Hmm.
that's true.
Look at every prison built,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll find out that they were built
Right after slavery.
right at the exception of slavery because you couldn't dump a mass amount of people onto a country like you're just letting you go free, and
Mm-hmm.
that's
Right.
their makeup is
Mhm.
like, well, we can't just let these people go around this country. They're in and they fear monger people into
Mm-hmm.
putting in place things to keep the economy going, because the economy was a agricultural economy
Mm-hmm.
that was built on the backs of our people, meaning that we, free labor, was being taken away from a group of people. Like, hey, you leave this plantation and you got 1,000 slaves, you just lost 1,000 workers. So,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to fill that void.
what? How do you fill that void?
Right.
You don't. Like, you have to slow down that progression, and how you do that is by enacting laws, like
Put laws in place, right?
put laws in place
Mm-hmm.
that give you control without control. See, the biggest thing in life is to control you without controlling you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, all right, we're going to let you go, but you got a social security number. You got an ID.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have these with you at all
At all
times.
times, yeah.
So
So
no matter where you,
they want to know where you at.
Yeah.
We have it's like the Holocaust. You know, they had the numbers on the
Of course.
wrist. It's
Mhm.
it's the same system.
The same system, but in
It's
different
just
way.
looks
It's
different.
called control.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Like, now people, you can go anywhere. What is he talking about? You can go any place in the world you want. But
Yeah.
guess what? You're not getting in out of this country or in another country without what? A passport,
or an ID.
an ID,
Absolutely.
birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know who you are,
Absolutely.
who's coming into their country.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep note of it too.
Oh God, yes. Like,
Absolutely.
so
Like when you go through the passport system, they have a whole list of people.
they
Just
know
like
how
who,
much. Yeah, they
who
know how
can
much
come
you
through, who
move.
can't come through.
Yeah.
And it keeps track, and like they have to stamp your passport anytime you leave the country, like,
And when you return,
and when you return. So there is evidence of
Of
where
control.
you've been and control. Yeah, which is not like when you break it down in that perspective, it brings so many aspects to light of control that is in our system today.
So you're trying to say is what's going on now is let people come to the border, feel free to walk on in here, right? That's not right.
well, think about it. When you have an election and it's a divided election,
Mm-hmm.
this many of them vote this way, this many, as it's divided.
Yeah.
And then you have one group that's a small group who's going to make a difference in the election. That small group, because if you can get that small group to lean left or right,
they tilt
the balance of power.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you tend to want to what? Denigrate that group of people, that small group of people, because you can't change the minds of the left or the right.
Right.
But you can change that small group by affecting them and how they look at life and what the
actions they choose to
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can limit their access to voting. You can limit or incarcerate them and take their right to vote away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's done city by state, city by country, to control
the people that they have,
the outcome.
Absolutely.
Right. And when you look at things from that point of view, is like, hey, why do you think Mr. Obama, whatever, your president, a former President Obama, was like, hey, I gotta chastise black men? Why do you think he did that?
So that he didn't show discrimination.
No, he did that because you woke up and saw that black men were going to make a difference in this race for president. So he had to chastise us into thinking that, hey, you better do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Joe Biden told us 4 years ago, you ain't black if you don't vote for him. This is a Caucasian person telling you that you ain't black, you don't vote for him. And that's fine. But he,
Wow.
like, those things rub me the wrong way. Like,
Absolutely.
I sit here and I go, who are you to tell me who I am?
Absolutely.
And well, he did so much for this country, and I said, well, okay. So once men start waking up, because they took leadership away from us, or we don't even lead our people.
Mm-hmm.
There's no black leaders.
And every time we had a black leader,
They
they were
assassinated.
assassinated.
Of course, because you don't want us to do anything but dribble a basketball, play a sport, entertain, juck and shive, and then act, which is a liar. That's pretend. An actor is what? A liar, based on the fact of what the definition of a liar is: pretending to be someone
that you're not.
that you're not,
Absolutely.
and then convincing people that you're that person.
Exactly.
That's a liar. I don't. So it's not that I don't have respect for the art. I'm just saying that that's what an actor is. And once they assassinated Martin Luther King, he was the last major assassination before Fred Hampton. That anytime that a black leader arises, we have to immediately start combing through his life to find all his flaws.
Yeah.
To take any power, take him down, because he's a threat to
society.
Yeah, to control that group of people. So you gotta. He's not for you. He did this, and guess what? Everybody has done something that they can use to take you down.
Exactly.
So that was the propaganda machine that controlled a race of people. Malcolm was only what 38 years old.
Yeah, and he was killed.
That's he's younger than my oldest two children when he
Martin
died.
Luther King was like 43, wasn't he? 40?
Malcolm, I don't even think Martin was
young too.
Yeah, he was like right around. He was like 39.
49,
he was
40.
Yeah, he was right around that area. When you look at it from the aspect, I'm sick. I'll be 60 in February.
Yeah, you're older than both of them, and
they're my children's age.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying anytime
someone steps up,
like civil rights leader type guy, want to explain himself and want the country come together, or he's trying to help his own people, that somebody would tear him down and that behalf, they don't want people doing things like that.
Because it's a distraction. If you talk about a person's flaws, then the masses are not going to listen to them. You understand? So living righteous and realizing that nobody, if you see a perfect person, and you know a perfect person.
No, I don't know nobody.
I don't know anybody perfect.
Like
everybody
that right there has made mistakes.
The person that they perfect about everything, he's a good person to be around.
I don't have the answers to everything, but I have almost 60 years of knowledge that I can help you with.
And experience.
Exactly.
And experience in life.
That's one thing I admire about you, because the young people, they go to social media and try to look up stuff and know everything.
It's fact checking.
What about the years experience that you went through? Well, what about the things you learned on the way growing up almost 60 years old? Like me, almost 60 years old.
Well, you got to look at
what's wrong listening to us?
Well, it's because if I convince you, this young man right here, to go to my machine here, and who's controlling the information being put into the machine that he's getting the answers to. Like you're going to fact check someone that lived an experience and think that the people that are putting the information into the machine as gospel. And when someone said, nah, it wasn't like that, then you go, what do you mean it wasn't like that? I can Google it now.
That's exactly Google,
you're listening to Google. You're not listening to that's Google. It's like you think you're telling me that the person that controls Google or Apple or any of these search engines,
Microsoft.
yeah, they are programming algorithms in there to generate answers that they want you to have.
Yeah, it's not.
And you're taking it as fact.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of asking somebody that lived that time frame and say, how was it when that, what do you remember?
Really happened?
What really happened? How was things?
Exactly.
And that's where we're lost.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's called, how do you call it? What was that the whole Willie Lynch theory called divide and conquer.
Yeah.
You divide a race of people by breaking down that group of people. All right, we're gonna say you're light skinned, so you're a house nigga, a house slave. You're a dark skinned person. You out in the field.
Yeah.
You less than him. So now you're creating different. All right, this like
hierarchy almost.
You're stronger than this old man. So we're gonna pit you against him because you can do more physical labor than this old man. So you don't need to listen to him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna have these group of slaves over here beat the other slaves into submission with poor white folks. So you have a system that's set up perfectly to control people for 400 years.
Absolutely.
You control by control. And then who's the savior? The man living in the White House that never does anything but give you food on Sunday, come down and tell you how much he loves you and sleep with your mama when he make your dad get up out of bed. This is slavery.
In the field, yeah.
Right,
yeah, he loved his slaves.
Right.
Oh, I love my master. I ain't never gonna do nothing against him. Like that's called control. Like that's just if you actually, I don't know if the Willie Lynch letter was real or not, but it perfectly explains how you control people for 300 years after slavery.
Right.
It's that we protect our master more than we do our own selves.
Yeah.
I had experience. I had a guy in one time. I was cutting his hair, and he told me that I wasn't black.
Yeah.
And I said, "You never experienced what I went through." And he was like, "30s." So he born around the 90s, I think, around the 90s. I said, "Well, I was in the 60s and the 70s when civil rights movement was going on. I saw a little bit of everything more than you did."
But
and then I had to break it down. So I'm like, how can you tell me I ain't black?
Yeah.
I said, my great grandmother is so black you can't even see her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, like she's like, you turn the lights on, you can turn the lights on, you can see her eyes. That's it. But like being black people in this country, we so mix so many nationalities. It's just
well, we all are.
We all are.
I'm not just black. I'm black and Mexican.
You're more than that too.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
the reason I point this out is that when you want people to be or want to be around people that are better or have a different mindset, you base your friends on the content of their character. Like if someone screws you over one time and you go, all right, I forgive you.
Right.
Don't do it again. Then they turn around and do it again, and you let them, and you go, all right, you did it to me again. Stay away from me. It's a problem. No, that person showed you who he was the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand? And instead of going and saying, hey, I realize you made a mistake, but I can't ever not forget what you did. And all the access that you had with me before
is now limited.
Is limited and will never, there's nothing you can do to change that. It's just, we're going to move on. And I'm always going to be leery because I know you're going to do what you do because that's who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like people realizing that, hey, Well, I did this. This person did this to me. How many times did he do it to you?
Exactly.
If he did it to you more than once, it's because you allowed him to do it to you more than once.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like you cut some people out of your lives, and then you have less people that do negative things
I
to
was
you.
telling Dante this several weeks ago about. I said, so sometimes you have a vision, things you want to do, and sometimes you can't tell.
You can't tell everybody your vision
because they take your vision and run with it.
And,
I had experience over the years on. I told somebody else,
and then you next thing you know they're doing
they
it.
took it and ran with it.
Yeah,
And
of course.
just walked away with like I didn't exist no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
And then
in
that's
life, you might just want to keep things to yourself.
well, if you give out energy, meaning
And I'm trying to get out good energy.
so you
But
take
people are trying to.
so you
Not,
take
they're
it
not
for
good. They're trying to.
well you
I'm
take
use,
it for
I'm
what,
gonna use what I can use from this guy and keep it moving.
and there's nothing wrong with that if you think about it. If you don't want someone, if you want someone to know something, tell this
Tell
person.
Yeah.
Meaning that I know if I tell this one particular person something, I don't have to say anything else. It's going to come back to me as a factual thing because I know that one person is going to start to talk and pass on that information. So when you say someone took your idea and did that, of course they did. You wanted them to because guess what you did?
You told them.
You told them. And you should be like, hey, bro, good job. The reason I say you should do that is because you told them.
You gave them that idea.
Yeah, and then you didn't follow through on it yourself.
Right.
Like, I don't care what anyone does that I do. I really don't care. Because I know I'm not going to give up all the information or knowledge that I have unless I'm giving it to someone to become my competition.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Like, you realize that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, anything I tell you and I show you how to do it, you become my competition because I just told you to do the same thing I'm doing and how to do all the steps. So I'm successful because I follow what other people do and I just don't do the things that they did wrong.
Exactly.
But I had that experience with you, with somebody. You told me about some of the things you're doing, right? And I told him, well, so-and-so already told me that. He said, well, can you tell me what they doing so I can do what they doing? I said, I can't do that. That's his vision.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to know something about, don't come through me to get to him. Why don't you go to the source?
Right, come to me.
Go to the source and he'll tell you. Because I don't want to be the person that...
The reason they see, if I come at you straightforward, I'm a man. I'm going to look you in the eye and I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to ask you what I need to know. But when I feel less confident about who I am as a man, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to watch that person I want to follow. I'm going to watch the things and the people here around and I'm going to say, oh, I think I can get to him to get the information. And can you ask him for something? Ask him how you do that and then give me the information, then I'm going to do it. That's how people choose to live because
they delegate.
They try and figure out instead of being a man and stand up and say, I'm going to find out or ask the person that's doing something. Like, come on, apps. Think about it. Everybody has a phone. What sense does it make to worry about one person and what they're doing when you can see what they're doing, do the research, and start the process yourself.
Absolutely.
If that's what it takes. And then why be mad about something when, look, how many houses are there in this general area right here?
Yeah.
Think about the number of houses. If you want to sell something to each house, what are you going to do? You're going to go knock on the door and you're going to get 30 no's a day.
Yeah.
But if you get 3 sales,
if you get a couple of sales, that's all you really need. Really.
That's all you need.
Absolutely.
So that you failed 30 times to be successful 3 times. You understand?
Batman, that's what I go by as being a barber. It's like And I would tell somebody the other day about as being a barber and having family. You'll think your family support your vision.
Oh, come on.
I said, and they said the ones probably won't support your vision is your family.
Mm-hmm.
So they said it's going to be the people that you don't even know that's going to believe in you. It ain't going to be the people that you know. You know, and like I said, it's so many people in the world. In this area, it's like 200,000 people in this area, right?
Right.
It's enough. It's enough for everybody.
See.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough for everybody.
You could build a living based off of just this
Understanding
alone.
that people are consumers.
Yeah.
Like my whole thing is, and I look at every person as a customer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at every person as a customer, and you can sell them something, you can make money.
You can make money. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to come and put this person down
so that you can be better yourself.
To be better myself when
Absolutely.
I can just figure out how I need to, like, okay, this is a need that needs to be filled. Fill that need.
Mm-hmm.
People will come to you.
I completely understand what you're saying because I'm the same way. I'm not going to put you down just so I can grow. But at the same time, that mindset is created for the need of power.
Of course.
And I think that need of power is what's driving, not what's driving, but is a big piece of why we are the way we are today, why society is the way it is today, why we continuously make the same choices to create abusers by abusing.
Of course.
And I think until we break that cycle, it's always going to be the same. We're always going to be consumers.
Okay, so think about it like this.
Do you think is that the reason why, as being black, we having so many problems right now?
The reason we're having, in my opinion, and I'll strictly keep it to that.
Owning stuff.
Yeah, like
owning things.
In my opinion, that we do not succeed as a race of people because we don't understand the dynamics of unity. Meaning that if you have 60 black businesses and each business supports the other business, that means the money will stay in that community for 60 cycles before it goes to a bank. Because if I buy something here, I get my hair cut here, and I go over to that store and I buy something there, that means my money went from here to there. Right. Now that store comes over here to this barbershop, get a haircut. Mm-hmm. That's the money that I gave that store. He brought it over here.
It
stays in the community. It's circulating
in that community.
That the Asian community generates about 20 cycles in their community before it goes out of their community. The Hispanics are right around 18 cycles. Jewish community is about 20 cycles. Black community is a one and done. Yeah. Your money comes in, goes out of our community, and now we don't have communities. Right. If you look at Collins Street in Joliet, look at Chicago Street. You had over 100 black businesses. There's 2 on Chicago Street on the end now, and then you sporadically put all over.
Hey, Batman, can you explain the businesses? How many businesses was in the 70s in Joliet?
Oh, it was over 150 businesses on Collins Street and Chicago Street. Black-owned businesses.
How many businesses do you think it is now?
It's 2 to few.
Wow.
Meaning like maybe 10 or 15 sporadically put out. Why is that? Because
do you think I'm asking for your opinion. Do you think this got something to do with church? Not putting it out there enough?
Well, okay. My idea of church. Okay. When you give a church the right not to pay taxes and follow your indoctrination. Remember, you got to understand, son, that all of these churches were small in-house churches. Mm-hmm. That they said, okay, we can control the churches, we can break the unity of this community by giving churches access to money and dictating what they put out, and then 501(c)ing them where they don't pay taxes. They can't speak against anything that goes on in the community. They can't take a stance on anything that goes against the society norms. They have to keep a white Jesus up in the church, and the threat of losing the income, because guess what? Getting $14 million to build a church, that you really think they can pay that money back when they get 20 to 40 people a week paying tithes? You really think that they can pay that money back?
No.
They're not. It's not about paying the money back. It's about controlling the information going out. When we need these pastors to come out here and say this, we're going to control what they say, because we control the flow of money that's going into that church.
It's going into the church.
And so it's not like they're doing something bad. Like, I heard the pastor the other day talk about how helping poor people is stupid. Help the church. And it was taken out of context. But it came back up. It was something he said when he was 20 years ago. But the point he was trying to make was, hey, the way the church was supposed to be set up was, if we all are putting our money and tithes into the church can help the community.
Absolutely.
And help people. But what church go to today? You go pay your tithes every week, then be late on, need help with your light, gas, or mortgage payment you miss. See what church is going to help you. And I'm not saying that maybe they are. I just don't know. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I would say there's very few.
But they're help you by guiding you to an assistance.
Yeah.
But how many of them are going to go in the back and pull out a check and write a check to help you pay that?
The rent, the light bill,
Yeah. And then when you see a preacher wearing a $10,000 suit, driving a Rolls Royce, flying in a jet to go where? To another church to talk. Because now I'm, in my mind, I think I'm something, because I made it off the backs of my people and the assistance of the government.
It's literally the use of religion to gain power from other people, like off the backs of other people. Yeah. Absolutely.
I learned over the years, like, in the generation right now, the older people just believe in a certain thing still. I think 50, 60, 70, I think the trend around 70, 80 the years, I think a lot of people kind of woke up a little bit about what's going on with the church and stuff. But a lot of older people, like, I have parents like that too.
Yeah, they just go to church and they have a certain way.
They live a certain way, and it's still going. It's a trend going on still.
All right, for 400 years, the only person that can read is the pastor. He reads the Bible, the slave Bible, because that's what it was. And none of these people are learning how to read, so it's an interpretation. He's interpreting what he could read of this slave Bible to control the masses. So you control people by telling them how good the slave owner is and how he's saving them, and go out here and work hard and keep your head down. Don't worry about not having nothing. As long as you have a little something, you good. That's called creating a vacuum. Well, I'm successful because I go to church and I pay my tithes. If that makes you successful, that's fine. But when you're not looking at the fact that all of these people over here, what neighborhoods are there in Joliet? What black neighborhoods are there? You take the church out of the neighborhood, and then the police bag off. Now you see the decline of a neighborhood. Why did they do that? What are they building right here in Joliet right now?
A mall.
No, they're building a highway.
Oh, I didn't know they were built like down this way.
I-80.
On 80?
I-80 is being rebuilt.
Oh, damn.
So what did they do? They devalued
The
south end of Joliet
That's why
for
I gotta move.
40 years. They devalued that property by taking the police out, taking one church down there that nobody went to, and then devaluing it by allowing drugs and everything to come in, because don't think that drugs were always in the community.
Mhm.
That
drugs, I
no
feel like drugs have
jobs,
to be placed.
no jobs, because in the 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, there were jobs. So you were 16 and you didn't want to go to school, you could go get a job. So people were working, and it was generating an economy. That you remove the jobs, remove the church, put it out here. Now people have to travel to church to pay their tithes for something that they can't even live by and can't afford to even go to. And then you take the basketball courts down, take all the courts down. Then you take the baseball diamonds down. And you put things on TV, an image, and say, hey, be like me.
And just think about what he just said. They take all this stuff down, but they constantly building casinos.
Yeah.
Or different things to gamble your little money. So the devalue property.
They think about the community.
Yeah.
They think about money in their
money.
pocket.
It's because they needed to build another bridge 75 years later. The first bridge, 80 opened in 1970. When 80 opened. They had 10-year time period to build that bridge and build that highway.
This thing about, you don't think they're talking? They're building a casino and a highway at the same time.
But look at the south end of Joliet. Yeah. Those people that were working bought those homes right there by that bridge. Took the jobs away, took everything away, devalued the property. Who came and bought the property back? The government came back in and bought the property and buying the property at low cut rates because it's a high crime area that they created. That right across the bridge, you're gonna go a different direction and not cut these neighborhoods off. These are $200,000 to $300,000 homes that look just like the homes on the east side.
Hey, Batman, I'm thinking about another 40, 50 years. I think ain't gonna be no South End no more.
It's no South End now.
I'm talking about they're gonna eventually get rid of all that.
They're getting rid of it now.
Real slowly.
No, they're like
I know
go down. No, South End of Joliet, right by 80. That whole neighborhood is being bought up right now to build the new bridge. You realize that, right? Water Street from McDonough Street down Water Street, all of those homes out there.
On that street, wasn't for 60 years.
All of those homes are going to be gone.
She's 90 years old.
Why? And they didn't give them no money, buddy.
Yeah, we don't get anything out of it other than a highway and maybe a casino. Like, it doesn't bring us any money.
Right. And then
they're destroying the communities.
You had to destroy the community because the government ain't gonna pay nothing for this property. They pay at the most. These people will get $40,000 or $50,000. Think about that. In today's economy, 2024, $40,000 to $50,000, and sometimes as low as $5,000 for a house.
Have you noticed in the Joliet area, they're not really building stuff for the youth?
No,
they're building stuff for they put in their pocket.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And then they build a big courthouse down there, right? Big, beautiful.
Yeah, big, beautiful building. Yeah.
What's that for? Lock you up.
and a jail.
Yeah.
Big, huge jail.
And so it's
Chicago
definitely...
Street used to be the main street for all the businesses in the 70s. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
They tore it all down.
Dude, like, y'all think, like, we need black... It was hundreds of thousands of black businesses.
They were just taken.
They were shut down.
Shut down.
Systematically destroyed. because they knew. Now, look what's happening in Joliet. You have some ownership coming back in, buying up all the property, because they know the plan of downtown Joliet is by 2025 that little downtown Joliet is going to be a mecca.
You think so?
With a high-speed rail coming through.
They're trying to do it like neighborhood, ain't they?
It's going to be beyond neighborhood. Man, y'all got to go see. Like, you can go see the planning. They have a big thing, a big board down there telling you what to get ready to do to the city, and you're not going to be there.
And the crazy part is like I'm just now learning about this now. Isn't it our own decision on what we do with our community? Like,
no,
shouldn't it be? That's let me
of course
rephrase
it should.
It should be, but it's not.
Because
And
once they stopped ownership, bank ain't giving you no loan. They had, like, some of these banks in Joliet had application for black people, application for white people. You went in and asked for a loan, he'll tell you, we came home as veterans trying to get home loans, and we got VA, we couldn't get a home.
I got denied.
Yeah, bro.
Can you imagine? You fight for your country, you went to war for your country,
and then they won't give you a job.
And then we came back home. They made us go to the unemployment line. They want us to work for $8 an hour.
That's crazy.
Is you tripping?
It was $3.25 an hour, Anthony.
Well, mine, I think about $7.25.
Yeah, $7.20.
You was out in the '80s, right?
Yeah.
I came out in the '90s.
Yeah. Well, I came out in '98.
Well,
it was '98.
It was a little bit more then.
Well, yeah, the minimum.
It was still $3.25.
$3.25 was the minimum wage. Y'all got to check these things.
That's crazy.
You got paid a little more, but like, come on, what's the average? 15. It ain't $15 an hour right now.
No. Joliet's $15, or Chicago's $15 an hour. I think Joliet's 11.
Yeah. How are you supposed to in 2024?
Yeah.
Like, working 40 hours a week at $11 an hour.
It's
and take and with now in the 70s, people were making $17, $18 an hour, and the economy was totally different.
Yeah.
Gas was 5, 10, 15 cents. A gallon of milk was 2-3 cents. Like, these are not actual prices. I don't remember.
How can you afford a house? You can't.
It's almost impossible.
You can't.
You know what rent is right now?
House is expensive.
You can't leave your parents' home because rent is almost $5,000.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's an apartment complex down here that's it's not in the greatest of areas, but it's $1,500 a month to just to live, and if you're making $15, $16 an hour, that's all your money. That's your whole check.
$2,500 a month. That ain't enough.
It's your whole check. You could barely.
What do you think slavery was? If it's 24 hours in a day. Think about that. 24 hours in a day. Let's break this down. You go to work for 8 to 12 to 16 hours. Say you work a double shift or a shift and a half. That's what, 12 hours, right? How many hours are left in that day if 12 are gone?
You got
12.
Yeah.
You got to sleep, right?
That's 8.
That's
6, depending on who you are.
6 to 8. Like, so another 6. So we'll say 6. Now you got 3 hours to do what? Everything else.
Yeah.
Meaning, shit, shower, shit. Excuse my language. Everything you need to do in 3 hours. How are you not a slave? Because your whole time you're sleeping, what are you thinking about what you got to do the next day? Is get up and go back to the same plantation.
I call the Amazons the plantations.
No. What do you think? What do you think Caterpillar was called? A plantation, a plant. Like, they didn't change the terminology.
They just shortened the word.
There you go.
Once you work 12 hours, come on home.
If you
4 hours, go back to work.
How are you supposed to? And like, think about it. You have to even survive.
Absolutely. At least you have to at some point in time in your life. You have to.
So how hard is that? how aren't you a slave?
Right.
I want nice things. I can go on trips. Of course, I'm gonna give you 2 weeks to go someplace, and then you got to strategically put your vacations around holidays to even enjoy life.
Absolutely.
Because guess what? Where you at? So you're around a group of people that are not your family from 8 to 12 to 16 hours a day. How that ain't your family? You know them people more than you know your kids.
Absolutely.
You don't raise your children because at 4 years old, you give them to a school that they have a prescribed system for your child to follow. So you don't raise your children.
Yeah.
What's wrong with these kids? How you gonna tell me my kid is a problem when I'm not raising my kid? You are.
Exactly.
So I'll give them a pill. Everything has a pill now. How are you not a slave? Think about that.
Yeah.
How are you not a slave?
That's fair.
If you go to work for 12 to 16 hours a day, it's only 24 hours in a day. Why do you think they came up with the 8-hour system? Work 8 hours, you get relieved by somebody on the second shift. You go home, then somebody comes in and relieves him. That the plant never shuts down because it's constantly flowing.
Constantly running.
Hey, Batman.
You see the person that you relieve.
I worked in the plant and I found out people work 40 years and they try to make the 62, 65 and retire. Then 2 years later, they croak.
Well,
they died.
Think about it.
You work 40 years for your 401k, your pension, all that stuff. And then you work yourself to death.
Because what happens to your body when you stop? It
starts breaking down.
Because you're not used to laying around the house now.
And then
you're moving all the time. So you slow down. Like, wait a minute. Something's wrong here.
Your body thinks it's time to give up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it starts breaking down and things.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
I wasn't this way. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't this way either.
Like, you understand?
You can't do the same thing you want to do.
Like, you gotta understand that. How aren't we slaves? Like, give me a million ways we're not slaves. And I'm not asking to be facetious. I'm sitting here saying that when someone can control you, they know where you are. Well, he's here. Every camera, like, commit a crime. They don't have to rush to get you.
Nope.
There's a camera on every building, every street corner.
Batman. They know you at all the time. Now why? The phones.
Yeah. Track you.
You can go to Google right now and it'll tell you everywhere you've been.
For the last like 48 hours.
As long as you had this thing. It can give you it can tell you how long you was there, what you bought, and where you went to next, who you talked to on the phone. They can even pull up your conversation, listen to your conversation. How aren't you a slave?
That's the CIA right there.
Like, understand, that's to make the world better. It's you have to give up your freedom for safety, and that's what they're telling you.
Absolutely.
Give up all your rights so you can be safe. You're going to live in a safe world because you're in this bubble that you got to do exactly what I tell you to do. It's your choice. If you choose not to go to work, how long you going to have a house? How long you going to have a car?
Right.
How long you going to be able to eat? See, if you want to enslave a world, you put a price tag on everything.
So how do we break out of that? That's the real question. We understand it now. How do we build a community to break out of that?
You don't break out of it. You take it over because what? 99% outnumbers 1%.
That's fair.
If you think as a collective, you can take control back.
Well, I think what we gotta do is we have to sit down and talk like we're talking now, and bring people together. And so, because it's too many things going on in this world right now that we're not doing.
Absolutely.
And one thing we ain't talking.
Yeah, like that's what I meant by when I said take back control. Meaning, let's get a group
Mhm.
of 100 black men over here, or 100 men in general, that want to make sure that every one of these families eat every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a better. It's gonna be easier to make sure everyone eats than it would be to make sure one
person eats. You can create. See, the creation of money made it where money becomes more important than anything.
Absolutely.
Because it is
Mm-hmm.
in this system.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see a billionaire go to jail because he got all of this money and lost his mind and thought he's going to do whatever he wants, they're going to let you do whatever you want to a point when they say, all right, we need to tear this person down.
Yeah, right.
That's how they
But
took.
I think he was in the system.
Yeah, he's a part of a system.
He was part of
that
a system. He didn't have his own thing.
You
going.
grew up listening to P. Diddy
Yep.
and all of these other people
Mm-hmm.
become successful, and that's the idea of a successful black man to you. So in your mind, you got to do the same thing they're doing,
or something similar. Yeah.
to what they're doing.
Absolutely.
That until you realize, and we realize as a people, that that was a setup.
Mm-hmm. They put him there.
Of course.
Yeah. So,
but he was trying to lead the system, like break off. It was too late.
How you like even with me or anybody else,
mm-hmm.
you think we did stuff in 50, 60 years that
Everybody
we can be incarcerated for?
Absolutely.
Everybody
has.
Everyone has.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just bide your time. The threat of going to jail is what everyone else. Yeah. Think about this, and I'm gonna tell you. I'm just gonna. This is my last thing I'm gonna say. We represent 5.5%
mm-hmm.
of the population of the United States. Black men, 5.5%. I'm just pointing this out. Now, hear this all the way through. We represent 5% of the population of the United States. Black men in the United States represent 5.5%. And I said it 3 times so it'll stick. Now, the United States of America represents 5% of the population of the whole world. Okay, now let's say that again. The United States of America represents 5% of the population of the whole world.
Right.
Black men in the United States of America comprise almost 30% of the prisoners in the whole world. That's the last thing I'm going to tell you. What did I just say?
You just gave us facts.
Black men in the United States of America represent 30%, close to 30% of the world's prison population.
Mm-hmm.
How aren't we slaves again?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have every answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the most intelligent person in the world. That fact alone. How can 5%, 5.5% of 5% represent 30% of anything?
Crazy.
It is crazy, and that just means we, as a community, we need to do better. We need to, like you said before, become a unit, like create unity, and that's
when the system is set up
for us to
how is us coming
having
these conversations. Like,
meetings.
I'm not smart.
Mm-hmm.
I just have lived long enough to learn things.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I'm smart in the aspect of I've learned.
Right.
But guess what? How many of your friends you know that are dead? Your age group.
My age group, yeah.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And who killed them? another person that looked just like them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they don't have to lynch us.
We do it. We do it to ourselves. But again, that goes back to the saying, like, the abused become the abuser. You know, we were abused.
Once again, you're right on the right track, but you're not taking into consideration what I'm saying. If you want to change things, that it's impossible unless you teach people how to become a part of a collective that is geared toward the success of a group of people. Meaning that if this city wanted the youth to become successful, you bring them all together and you give them tasks. Meaning, hey, what do you like to do? Let's figure something out for you. You're supporting different groups by creating different avenues of wealth.
Yeah.
And you grow from there. So
it's almost like when I be saying prime time, the Deion Sanders, they always look at the see. I watch him. You know why? Because they looking at him as a black head coach. They think he can't succeed. They think he can't turn these men around and become men. I mean, the boys become men. And when he first got the job in Colorado, they thought he was going to fail. But the thing is, that's the narrative. That's what they want us to do. They want us to fail.
They're
but
smarter
now
than
he's
us.
succeeding. They
You
can't
ain't
handle
playing
it.
nobody.
They can't handle it.
You ain't doing this.
They can't handle that.
I look at what he's done as far as the people he's helped.
Yeah.
He's given opportunities to not only black men
who won't get jobs,
black women, white men. He's generating a $1 trillion economy around Boulder, Colorado, in the state of Colorado. So he's paid $5 million where other coaches in these bigger programs are getting $10 to $15 million. He's getting $5 million, but he's generating the revenue.
So big.
Who talked about Colorado football?
Nobody.
Not a single person. It wasn't big until
they were big. They've been since the 90s.
Since the 80s.
The 90s.
80s and 90s.
So I look at him as a role model. Ain't just a coach. Ain't about those kids succeeding.
Right.
Getting their degrees, staying out. Like he said about Travis Hunter. He go to school. He a good kid. He stay out of trouble. He don't do no drugs.
But they're looking for
something. He ain't partying. He go fishing. He like fishing. He hanging out with his girlfriend.
But what do you see on? What do you see?
They want to see the bad things about him.
Yeah, they want to see how he act like a fool on the field, like he did this. That's a narrative that they want to create.
They want people to fail.
To take away from any success. Why all right, think about this. You got how many NBA players? 426.
Yeah.
Over 70% of them are black. If they combine their wealth and put their money into each one of their communities to buy a warehouse, lease it to Amazon, or start a company that generates payment to people, like just with their money, not using their money, but leveraging their money to start a business or open up a corporation and pay the people the revenue from that company, because you got this money over here. You can't spend all of this. You can't spend this money. You can't buy everything in the world. So you leave that company, like let's go out here and get 1,000 men, sit them down and say, hey, let's sign a contract. Let's go down here, get a warehouse and bid for some of these contracts. And then we're going to work it.
But the problem is,
but see, hold on. This is
if we do something like that,
hold on, hear me out.
A problem.
Hear me out. Before we say there's a problem, you don't automatically jump to a problem before you even come up with the solution, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not cutting you off to be mean. I'm saying like we play devil's advocate before, and that's
Before
what
we
is
even
it?
started.
Before we're done, we never achieve anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we took 1,000 men, and we said, okay, we're gonna build 4. We're gonna put all our wealth together and buy 4 plots of land and put 4 factories on there, warehouses. And we're going to bid on some of these contracts to move some of these services. And then we're going to hire all of these people to work within this community. And then we're going to buy another plot of land and build 1,000 homes over here. What you just...
You created supply and demand.
And a workforce. And you're building a need. And you can duplicate that in every community that we want to affect.
And it'll just continue to create revenue so you can move that revenue.
But see, when I'm 1%, don't want you to think like that. So if you think like that, you taking money out of their pocket.
Absolutely.
So they always have a procrastinist that comes in and say, well, niggas can't work together, or these people can't do this together. No. You have checks and balances for everything. Right? And creating a generational wealth gap that grows in every community will better us. That's like, bro, I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. I got one
I
more
don't
question,
know.
my guy.
Yes, sir.
Was this a bright idea or a bad decision?
No, this is, it is what it is.
But that's one reason why I brought you.
Bright idea.
I know you have a lot of logic, a lot of experience and stuff, and you one of the guys in the community that's taking chances on life, and you want more black men like you to take chances on life
and to be better.
Because a lot of people, I'll tell them, Dante, a lot of people don't want to sell themselves. You have to sell yourself. You have to spend money to make money. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's like this. Your biggest supporters are the people that hate you because they watch everything you do. If you get paid on views, you're going to have 10,000 views, 200 likes. If you get paid on views, your haters are viewing you. They won't like your product. They won't like it, but they'll watch it.
Out of spite?
No, because that's what the system has created.
It's a trend.
It's a created system to hate anyone that thinks outside of the box.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Everything here, like, I just started an Amazon. Like I said, I became an Amazon seller. I can sell every product in here.
Absolutely.
All I need is someone to get on here that knows how to work can understand how to to go in and learn what they do and put products on there. Yeah. Do you think I can get someone to actually do that?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Why can't I find them? I got to do it myself. Well, why you want me to do it? Then it's mine. See, that's the first problem. You don't have the initiative, but I can tell you what I did, and you go, why you just can't just tell me what you do and let me do it myself? Because now I'm creating what? Competition.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Not wrong. Well, why we can't do it together and we all eat?
Okay. Well, that's good, man. But,
thank you for coming again. We appreciate
you, brother.
Hey, look, man. I don't have all the answers, and I'm not the smartest person in the world. That all I can be is who I am. Yeah. That's all anyone can be.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope you guys learned something like we did today, and have a wonderful rest of your week and a great weekend.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Hey,